Charger owner Alex Spanos says the team will stay in San Diego for the 2015 season, but made no promises for beyond that. Meanwhile, Mayor Faulkner says he wants to get a ballot measure for the new stadium before voters in 2016. Joining me with how this might play out are my guests, Jay Paris, sports writer and host at Mighty 1090 Radio, and KPBS News and digital editor Laura Wingard. And Jay, so if the Chargers don't get a new stadium,
right,
how likely is it that they're going to leave?
Well, I think it's any good businessman has a couple plans, and their plan is to stay in San Diego. But if that doesn't happen, they'd be foolish not to try to get a piece of that LA market or to move somewhere where their franchise would go up. Let's face it, playing in that stadium, they're undervalued as it is, and if they went somewhere else, they'd be worth more money.
And just briefly, the places that they're talking about or been rumored is LA and where else?
It's mostly Los Angeles. There's
Okay.
3 sites up there that have been identified, and here recently the Hollywood Park side is really picking up traction.
We'll have to follow that.
Yes,
Now,
we
Laura,
will.
the push for this new Charger Stadium is nothing new. It's been going on for 13 years or so. How is the mayor's task force for a plan this time different from all the other ones?
Well, I think most people are comparing it to the one in 2002, which Dick Murphy created when he was mayor. And we won't know until Kevin Faulkner announces who's on it. But, it's a citizens committee. They look at it. They're supposed to come up with a plan. That's what Mayor Faulkner said. He wants to know how it's going to be financed and where it's going to be built, either downtown in the East Village or at the current Qualcomm Stadium. The task force in 2002 did the same thing, and at that time it was to keep it in Qualcomm.
Any guesses as to who might be on this committee? We've asked and nobody has any idea.
I don't know who they'll pick. I mean, the last one had people from the tourism community. It was led by a respected land use attorney. I would assume that, the people that are involved and who will benefit from a Charger Stadium. There's going to be a lot of business people on it, that sort of thing.
Yeah, good point. Now, Jay, give us a sense, if you would, for people who haven't been in a while, what is the state of the Qualcomm Stadium like right now?
They opened it before we landed on the moon. So that about sums it up.
It was called something else back
yes,
then,
it was
but right.
San Diego Stadium, then
right.
Jack Murphy Stadium, now Qualcomm Stadium. It's when the Spanoses go around to other games on the road, they get stadium envy, no matter where they go, because every other place, maybe not Oakland Stadium, but every other place, it looks better than Qualcomm. The video board's outdated, the pipes are leaking. It's just not a lot of creature comfort stuff for people who are paying top dollar for ticket now.
Right. And are there have either of you heard, are there any safety issues? Because one time I was there, I literally saw a chunk of concrete fall down.
Well, that's happened a few years ago. It was kind of famous. There was a storm that day, which doesn't happen all the time, and it was so flooded. People were having to kind of lift their legs, and the water was rushing through the aisles. So, and that caused electrical problems and things like that. And of course, it was on national TV.
Right. And Laura, I want to ask about this. So the campaign, as I said, the mayor said while he was campaigning, he would not use taxpayer money for a new stadium, as did everybody running for mayor at the time. But now he says, quote, it needs to be a fair deal for taxpayers. What does that mean?
Well, it's how you define taxpayer money. And I think that happens across the country when these stadiums are being built. One thought that has been kicked around a lot is Qualcomm Stadium is on 166 acres. It's prime real estate in Mission Valley. It's owned by the city. Do you sell part of that off, develop it, build a park along the San Diego River, and use maybe the revenues from those sales or leases and things like that to fund a stadium somewhere else? So is that taxpayer money? Some people would say yes. If you're going to sell that, it should go back to the general fund.
Back to the general fund.
So that's kind of, it's how you define taxpayer funds.
All right. We'll be talking about that for a while. But Jay, I want to end on this because there is some other sports news in town. The Padres are going to host the All-Star game. Tell us what that means.
Yeah, it's a big plum for the Padres, and it kind of really shows the culture change that's going on down there since really this offseason. Be the 3rd game in San Diego, but the 1st at Petco Park, and it's going to give them a chance to not only show off that beautiful venue down there, but San Diego as well. So middle of summertime, the weather will be great. It's going to be a good time for the San Diego.
So we have a couple things to look forward to.
We
Jay
do.
Paris, Laura Wingard, thanks so much.
Thank you.